Coming up now in your spoiler-free wrestling news rundown, we've got everything that went down in Korakuen Hall on Monday as New Japan Pro Wrestling prepares for Hyper Battle 2022. We've also got 2 new matches added to the Windy City Riot card in Chicago on April 16th, and we've also got news from elsewhere around the wrestling world. Subscribe to Spoiler-Free Wrestling for all your wrestling news. New Japan Pro Wrestling was back at it on Monday with a show from Korakuen Hall. They're doing a few more shows leading up to the big Hyper Battle event on Saturday. However, Monday's show is the only one that will air on New Japan World. So much of what took place on the show is building up to matches on Hyper Battle 2022. We kick things off with Bullet Club in action as Bad Luck Fale, El Phantasmo, and Taiji Ishimori took on a team consisting of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions, Wato and Taguchi, and the Young Lion, Oiwa. So, of course, this match was building up the tag team title match that will take place on Saturday, where Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori challenged Taguchi and Wato. It would be Bullet Club picking up the victory. El Phantasmo got the win for his team with a CR2. After the match, Bullet Club continued the attack on members from the NJPW main unit, and Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori would even hold up those IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles and taunt the champions with them. It would be a common occurrence on this show that challengers would hold up the title belts that they're challenging for on Saturday, but Phantasmo and Ishimori were the first ones to do it. The next match saw Doki and Kanemaru defeat the team of Bushi and Shingo Takagi. Then we moved into the third match of the night, which was scheduled to be Chase Owens and Gato taking on Jado and Hiroshi Tanahashi. However, Gato cut a promo before the match where I'm assuming he said he was pulling out of the match and allowing Bad Luck Fale to replace him, so Fale would wrestle for the second time in the show. However, there was no English commentary for this show, so I'm not really sure if that's what Gato said, but that is what ended up happening. It would be Bad Luck Fale and Chase Owens taking on Jado and Tanahashi, and it would be Chase Owens pinning Jado after a C-trigger, something that has happened frequently on New Japan Pro Wrestling shows ever since Jado was kicked out of Bullet Club. Bullet Club tried to continue the attack after the match. They held Jado in place, and Gato came in and was about to hit him with a pair of brass knuckles when Tama Tonga and Tangaloa came out and made the save. The next match then was previewing the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match, which will take place at Hyper Battle between Sho and the champion El Desperado. So in this match, Dick Togo and Sho defeated Taka Michinoku and El Desperado. The finish came when Sho gave a low blow to Desperado, then hit Michinoku with a wrench, then locked him in a submission as Dick Togo forced El Desperado to watch. After the match, Sho then held up the championship belt, becoming the second or third challenger on the show to do so, and he taunted the champion with that belt. So maybe will we see Sho become the new champion on Saturday? Then before we went to break, there was a video played featuring Will Ospreay. So the video showed a series of pictures of various junior heavyweights, and it pans up to reveal Ospreay standing there saying the junior heavyweight division hasn't been the same since he left. However, he's about to introduce a new protege who will set the division on fire. I don't know how to pronounce this, but Bruciare flashed up on the screen, and we're getting teased that a new member of the United Empire who's going to compete in the junior heavyweight division will debut shortly. Of course, the Best of the Super Juniors tournament coming up next month. The next match was a preview of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match, which will take place at Hyper Battle, where Great Okan and Jeff Cobb will challenge Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto for the belts. So this match saw Aaron Henare, Will Ospreay, Great Okan, and Jeff Cobb defeat Yo, Togi Makabe, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto after Ospreay pinned Yo with the Hidden Blade. There was some activity after the match as well. There was a stare down between Yoshihashi, Goto, and Okan and Cobb. Then Will Ospreay attacked from behind, and the United Empire had a 4-on-2 advantage over the tag champions for a bit until the tag champions ultimately fought back and sent the United Empire scurrying to the back. The semi-main event on Monday's show saw Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi team up to defeat the team of Yujiro Takahashi and Evil. And of course, this match is previewing the Never Openweight Championship match, which will take place on Saturday as Hiromu Takahashi challenges Evil after Takahashi eliminated Evil from the New Japan Cup. So Takahashi and Naito gave some double team combos to Takahashi, and then Naito pinned him with a roll-up. After the match, however, Takahashi and Naito got a hold of the Never Openweight Championship, and Takahashi taunted the champion by holding up his own belt. Evil was enraged on the outside and threw a bunch of chairs into the ring, which Takahashi then used to sit on and play sort of a game of musical chairs along with Naito. Takahashi also did some talking to the belt as well. All of this just to build up towards their big title clash on Saturday. And the main event of Monday's show sure was interesting. It saw Toru Yano and Kazuchika Okada team up to take on the Dangerous Tekkers, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. Of course, Yano will defend the King of Pro Wrestling trophy against Taichi on Saturday, and Okada will defend the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Zack Sabre Jr. So this match played into the match between Yano and Taichi on Saturday, as one of Taichi's rules for the KOPW match on Saturday are that it'll be a no ropes sumo match. So during this match on Monday, Taichi removed all the ring ropes, which I thought was very interesting, especially considering both Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. continued to mime as though they were walking through the ring ropes whenever they entered the match. The match concluded when Zack Sabre Jr. had Yano wrapped up in the Clarky Cat. Yano tried to crawl to the ropes, but there were no ropes, and he eventually had to submit. Zack Sabre Jr. cut a promo after the match saying he thinks daily about how 4 years ago he won the New Japan Cup but was not able to defeat Okada to win the title. However, he said that in the 4 years that have passed since, he's become an all-new wrestler, but Okada is the same. And so he closed it off by saying the Dangerous Tekkers are going to run the wrestling world by the end of Hyper Battle 2022, as he will be the IWGP World Champion and Taichi will be the King of Pro Wrestling. So while Hyper Battle 2022 is the big event upcoming for New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan, we are building towards Windy City Riot in Chicago for New Japan Pro Wrestling of USA, and there were 2 matches added to that card recently. The first added match will see Tom Lawler defending the New Japan Strong Championship against Yuji Nagata, and also a big 12-man tag team match was added, which has members of Bullet Club teaming up with an old member of the New World Order Japan faction. So Bullet Club USA, featuring El Phantasmo, Hikuleo, Chris Bay, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, they'll team up with NWO Japan's Scott Norton. So Scott Norton, of course, there is a lot of synergy between the old NWO and the Bullet Club. So Scott Norton sort of joining Bullet Club for this match here, as they will take on the United Empire team of Aaron Hanari, Jeff Cobb, The Great O'Khan, TJP, Kyle Fletcher, and Mark Davis. So other matches already announced for the show on April 16th include Tomohiro Ishii against Minoru Suzuki, Jay White having a USFJ Open challenge, and in a 10-man tag team match, we will see Fred Rosser, Josh Alexander, and Alex Coughlin, along with Ren Narita and Chris Dickinson. They'll take on the Team Filthy team of Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, JR Kratos, Black Tiger, and Danny Limelight. And also, in what I'm assuming is the main event, we will see Jon Moxley take on Will Ospreay. New Japan Pro Wrestling has also announced the lineup for this Saturday's New Japan Strong episode, and it's a big one for fans of Bullet Club, as we will see Hikuleo take on Andy Brown. And of course, it was at this Strong Style Evolved event in Tampa, Florida, where Hikuleo confronted Jay White. And we will also see Jay White in action on Saturday's show, as he will present the USFJ Open Challenge, where he takes on Chris Sabin. Other matches announced for New Japan Strong this week include Josh Alexander against Carl Fredericks, and Eddie Kingston and Fred Rosser taking on Daniel Garcia and Fred Yehi. Just a couple of news bits from elsewhere around the wrestling world to get to for this video. The first being that Bexar County in Texas has proclaimed March 16th to now be Thunder Rosa Day. Now, while March 16th is heavily associated with Steve Austin and 316, it's now got Thunder Rosa's name attached to it as well. So the county officially proclaimed that March 16th will now be Thunder Rosa Day. They made this announcement yesterday. Thunder Rosa announced on her social media as well. And the reason that March 16th is now Thunder Rosa Day is because that is the day last month when Thunder Rosa defeated Britt Baker in a steel cage to win the AEW Women's World Championship. So congrats go out to Thunder Rosa. Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor on Friday was the first show with Tony Khan as the new owner. And it is said that they are quite pleased with how well the show did on streaming and traditional pay-per-view. It was reported by Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio that the show brought in over 20,000 buys, and that does not include people who watch the show by subscribing to Honor Club, which is Ring of Honor's streaming service. So this number was said to be quite pleasing to those in charge. And finally, AEW is back at it tonight with an episode of Dynamite from the Agganis Arena in Boston. Just under 5,500 tickets have been distributed to the show. We have 5 matches announced for it already and 1 talking segment. Tony Khan announced the segment on Busted Open Radio this morning, saying we will hear from Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz, who will likely have something to say to Chris Jericho and his Jericho Appreciation Society. We will see Samoa Joe debut in AEW tonight after appearing on the Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor pay-per-view on Friday night. He's going to be in an Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament qualifying match against Max Caster. We will also see an Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament qualifying match on tonight's show, as former AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida will take on Julia Hart. In singles action, we'll see Christian Cage take on Adam Cole, and in a tag team tables match, we'll see Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardys, take on the Butcher and the Blade. And finally, in a very big main event, a double tag team championship match will take place. The match will be for both the ROH World Tag Team Championships and the AAA World Tag Team Championships, as the new ROH Tag Champs FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, will defend against the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. That is a very big match taking place on Dynamite tonight. And that's going to do it for this video, everyone. We'll be back with a new video released on Friday. Subscribe to Spoiler Free Wrestling for all your wrestling news.